Welcome to a brand new episode of The Legacy of Purpose. We have had a great season so far, and we have been enjoying your feedback. Remember to log on to our website, thelegacyofpurpose.com, to view all previous episodes. Also, sign up for our Legacy of Purpose mailing list so we can stay in touch with you and let you know of all the exciting news and specials we want you to know about.
Well, today we have a special treat for you guys. You know, in 2016, we hosted our first Munroe Emerging Leaders, better known as MEL event. MEL is an event we host through the Myles and Ruth Munroe Foundation, where the purpose is to bring together and expose leaders that share innovative and unique values. MEL provides a platform for leaders to inspire each other with their unique success stories. MEL is something that is really important to Charissa and I because it is founded on one of our family's core values, and that is helping and teaching others how to discover their purpose and successfully die empty. Well, today we have a special guest on the show with us. It's a friend of Charissa and I, a great, great friend of Charissa and I. He's a fellow Bahamian that resides here in the United States with his family. And he was a speaker at our MEL event last year. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Ralph Clare.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thanks for being here.
It's great to have you. So, Ralph, share with us a little bit about yourself and your story.
Absolutely. Raised in the Bahamas, spent my entire life there, and then got an opportunity to go off to school. Did that with good friends, and then had an opportunity to go to grad school, and then more recently work at Walmart. I was directly recruited out of grad school, didn't expect it, it just kind of happened. And it's been great since then. I found my wife here in the States, got married, just recently had a kid, and things are going really well.
That's good, man. Well, tell us, how was your experience at our first MEL event, and how did you feel being one of the featured speakers?
Yeah, it was a great experience. I think sometimes, when you're working, you work with your head down, and you never take a chance to look up. And last year, when I got to be a part of it, it was a moment for me to look up and really see kind of the accomplishments that I've had in this country.
During your speech at MEL last year, you said something that was very profound to me, and I never forgot it. You said you should always remember that your step up for success can sometimes be the result of someone else's effort. Expand on that a little bit.
I think it's pretty simple. We all kind of share this emotional connection. And whenever you tap into somebody's connection, they never forget it, maybe negative or positive. And whenever it's positive, people reflect on that whenever it occurs again with something that's similar. But for me, it was somebody that went to an island in the Bahamas, had a great experience and made a connection with the people there. And that person was the person that was interviewing me for the job that got me at Walmart. And I was able to leverage the relationship and that connection that they made with him in my opportunity, and therefore got an opportunity to work with the company. So, like I said, you never know who you may be impacting. But if it's favorable in most cases, in some unfortunate cases it may not be favorable, it usually benefits the person that comes after you.
Yeah, great, man.
Jane, I totally agree. And it's so good to, when you're going to the top, to carry people with you.
Absolutely.
Well, today you will be able to learn more about my brother on a very personal level. You know, last season we received a lot of feedback from you, our audience. And one of those requests was for you guys to hear more from us. And that's exactly what we are doing. We will continue the messages from our dad, but we will also be incorporating messages from my brother and myself, and also my mother. So today, let's tune into my brother's presentation from MEL 2016, where he spoke on developing and emerging into your brand of leadership.
Coming to grips with the fact that I hated being Myles Munroe. I absolutely hated being Myles Munroe. Growing from a teenager, actually from a young boy, to a grown man, I hated the fact that my first name was Myles. Because, and like my sister said, there was so much expectations placed on our lives, simply because of who our father was. No care of who we were as individuals or who we were as young kids. You guys are the heirs of Myles and Ruth Munroe. then you guys must do this and speak like this and dress like this, and all of these expectations placed on us. I absolutely hated being Myles Munroe. Again, just running through what I discussed yesterday, people wish they could be myself and my sister. I got this question all the time. How does it feel to grow up in the same home as someone so wise? For me, it was normal. It was just Dad. That's it. I don't know who you view him as, but for me, he's my father. Like, I watch him wake up, go to the bathroom, shower, get ready, just like everybody else. He's a human being. Absolutely hated being Myles Munroe. The microscope that was on my life, the expectations that were placed on my life. Why can't I just be me? Why can't I just be Charo? My dad, his name was Myles Munroe. His middle name was Egbert. I have no idea why my father didn't give me the middle name Egbert. I am super grateful that he did not. My goodness. But I grew up hearing or knowing myself as Charo. They never referred to me, my parents, they never referred to me as Myles growing up. So I've always heard the name Myles, the name Charo. So when I became a teenager and I started to, have to do stuff on my own, like get my driver's license and go to these public, government buildings and do things for myself, they call you by your government name. That was the worst feeling for me. I mentioned this yesterday. Getting my driver's license, submitting my application, and sitting in the waiting area. Knowing, like what I used to do sometimes, I used to submit my application and leave. Because I know, okay, they're going to call my name, I'm not going to be there. But by the time I come back, my car will be ready, so I just have to walk up to the window and just be like, hi, I'm Myles Munroe. And I whisper it. Simply because I didn't want my name to be called and folks to turn around and look at me. Because that was always the reaction. Absolutely hated being Myles Munroe. Are you going to be a pastor? Follow in your dad's footstep? Be as great as your father? Who knows? But these were expectations that were placed on my life. And they were affecting the way that I felt about myself. And they were affecting my relationship with my father. Because I never wanted to be around him, never wanted to be seen in the same place as him. Because I really never wanted anyone to know that was my dad. The funny thing is, my parents passed in 2014. And people come to me to this day and they say, oh, I didn't know Myles Munroe had children. And that shocked me because I'm like, who doesn't know his business? And then I remember, well, wow, I must have did a great job in hiding the fact that he was my dad. It affected our relationship. And me and my dad, it was a strain on our relationship. Simply because I just detested being his son. So I rebelled, and I think this is what any kid or every kid in my position does. We do everything that we feel will completely separate us from what we're running from. So my dad was a pastor and traveled the world speaking and doing all this good. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and take this drink, go to this party, and have some fun. Because I was forcing the issue that, look, I am not Myles Munroe. I'm not in church every day. I'm not speaking on stage. I'm not, doing what he does. I'm doing something entirely different because I want to be different from Myles Munroe. I want you to see me not as Myles' boy, but as the individual that I am. So this was a process that I had to go through in developing myself, my individuality. I started to hate myself. I started to hate my name. I started to hate the fact that I was born to the parents that I was born to. Wish that I could choose the family that I was born in. There was this particular family when I was in high school. I used to look at them and I used to envy them. I'm going to call names because I don't want to speak my business like that. But there was this family in high school that I used to look at and I used to be like, man, I wish I could have been born into that family. How crazy is that? All because of the expectations that I felt was on my life. And I'll expand on that point a little later. But because I know, I hated the fact that I was Myles Munroe because I knew that I was Myles Munroe. It was my name. My name was Myles Munroe. How can I run from someone that I am? Again, same nose. Well, not the same nose. His nose is a bit bigger than mine. I thank my mother for giving me this little sharp point that I have. She saved me a little bit. But it's still a large nose nonetheless. Thanks. Same large head. Thank you. Same smile. I can't run from that the fact that Myles Munroe was my father. And I hated that. I hated when people said, man, you look just like your dad. No, I don't. I do not. I do not look like Myles Munroe. I look like my mother. I look more like my mother. But no, you look like your father. And people say today, man, the older you get, the more and more you look like your father. I still cringe at that sometimes. I've accepted it. Because I look like both of them, I guess. So my cousin no, I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna speak that on myself. She said I'm gonna end up like my dad with no hair on top of his head. I rebuke that. But anyway, I hated who I was. I was ashamed of me. And then in 2009, I think I made the best decision I could have made in my life. And I'm just running through this for everyone to catch up to where I want to end today. I moved home to work with my dad, and I realized, Myles isn't so bad. The strain that was placed on me and my dad's life stunted my development as an individual, or stunted the person that he wanted to assist me to become, because I was running from who I really was. So coming back home to work with him, I had to learn to work with my dad. Me and my dad butted heads a lot in the first year that I came home because we are two totally different persons. My dad is outgoing, friendly, want to talk to everybody. Me, I am the exact opposite. Please don't talk to me. Leave me alone. I don't feel like having a conversation today. Let me just come in, let me do my work, and let me leave. But my dad taught me that I can't be selfish. As a leader, you can't be selfish. You have to adapt. You have to adjust your individuality to develop yourself as a leader. My dad taught me unconditional love, regardless of how I felt and how much I said I detested being his son. He loved me anyway. And I think that was one of the greatest lessons he could have ever taught me. My parents taught me the definition. I've always heard the term unconditional love. But their love was truly unconditional. And I just observed him. I observed the way that he interacted with the different people that he came into contact with. And I learned so much from those interactions. I learned how to develop my interactions. I learned how to come out of my shell, to be a bit more of an extrovert, because I was so introverted. I learned how to start conversations. I learned how to smile when I talk. Charissa mentioned yesterday that folks always thought that my mother was such a mean person because not intentionally, but she didn't really smile too much. But once you got to know her, you'd be like, wow, you're a really sweet person. Didn't know you were this nice. And I think I carried a bit of that with myself because, folks always told me, man, I always thought you was a mean person because you don't smile often. So I learned how to smile. I learned how to enjoy or pretend like I am enjoying. Thank you, Gene. So I discovered a few things about developing into and emerging into a leader. Or more importantly, I discovered how to develop into becoming Myles Munroe Jr. And I realized that the opposite of love wasn't hate, but it was fear. I really didn't hate being Myles Munroe. I was afraid of being Myles Munroe. I put so much expectations on myself, telling myself I could never be my father. I could never be like my father. People see him as this great individual who has done so many great things. How can I live up to that? So that made me afraid because what if I never became as great or greater than my dad? What if I failed at that goal? And this change, having a conversation with my dad in 2013 where he said, look, child, don't look at it as expectations, but look at it as a responsibility that you have. I've given you my name because I love you. Look at it as a responsibility now to take that name and take the platform that I have given you to higher heights. Expand it to areas that I won't be able to. So I started with these principles yesterday. First is self-love, confidence. You could never become who you're truly supposed to become until you accept the person that you are. You have to be confident in the individual that you are, because you can't be somebody else. It's hard to be somebody else because you'll be living a lie. Everyone has gifts, everyone has talents. Develop that gift. And that's usually the thing that you love the most, the thing that you're most passionate about. Develop your character. Your character needs to be tested. Test positive each time. Be a person of a character where folks could be able to predict with your response, your reaction, what decision you would make. Talia spoke earlier about me wanting her to make more decisions. Don't lean on me for the decision making. That's something that my dad did to me, that I learned from him. I always used to go to my dad and ask him a question, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? He never gave me an answer, never gave me a direct answer, always gave me a scenario. What would you do? I would answer him, and then he would say, well, that's good, but here's what I would do, and here's why. You must develop your character, because the gifts that you have will get you in the room, will get you on the stage, will get you in front of people that you probably wouldn't have gotten into or in front of if you weren't as talented or gifted as you are. But your character keeps you there. Your gift can only take you so far. Self-awareness. Know who you are. Know what you're good at. Know your strengths. Know your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Once you know your strengths, one thing my dad did, my dad knew what he was good at. He taught me that I should never be the smartest person in my circle. I always want to be able to learn from the people that I'm around, because I know what I'm good at. And I know what my weaknesses are. I have very little patience, so I need patient people around me. I know what I want, and I know I need to achieve it. But so I need people around me that could say, look, Chara, relax. We got you. So I'm building a team around myself that allows me to strengthen my weaknesses, and I'm able to strengthen their weaknesses because my strengths are their weaknesses and vice versa. So know who you are, know what you can do, and know what you can't do. And better yourself at those things that you can do. And the best thing to do, or the best way to do that, is to surround yourself with folks that are strong in areas that you're weak. And then self-time. For me, this is the most important. Take time for yourself. To develop yourself into the individual that you are, you need to understand who you are. What gets you up every morning? What stirs your creativity? What makes you want to be and love everything that you do? So meditate, pray, take time for you. Me, my time is traveling, going to the gym, cooking, listening to music, playing sports, watching movies. So that's what I like to do. Those are the times that I take. Learn to say no. A lot of people are going to be pulling from you, asking you to do things when they want you to do it. The best word you could learn in the dictionary is no. This is my time. Falling. It's a part of developing into a great leader. We are all going to fail at something. It's inevitable that we're going to fail. But fall up. Learn something from each failure. There's a lesson in every defeat. You could learn something from even your successes. You could learn how to do it better, what didn't work this time. But failing is the best thing that could happen to a leader. Because it puts us in a place where we're most vulnerable. Because we failed. And we're forced to learn from that. Or we should be forced to learn from that. To understand, okay, why is it I failed at this? What do I need to do? What do I need to change to possibly perfect what I was trying to do and get a better result next time? So know that you're going to fail. You won't succeed at everything. Freedom. Feel free to do what it is you want to do, regardless of what someone else may think, feel, or say to you about your ideas, your vision. Feel free to be happy to do it. Enjoy being you. Trust the process that you've been given. You know, I really didn't perfect the leader that I am until I was 29 years old. I had that conversation with my dad in January of 2013. And that's when everything clicked for me. That was late in my life. I mean, some people think that you're supposed to discover who you are as a young adult, between 20 and 25 or whatever age bracket you may put that into. But for me, it was 29. So for 29 years of my life, or 28 years of my life, I was running around, moving around, working, not knowing who I really was. Honestly, just doing things because this is what I thought folks expected me to do. This is what my dad wants me to do, so I'm going to do this. And then I realized that I was living a lie. I wasn't happy being that person. I wasn't free being that person. I felt caged because my ideas weren't mine. My creativity wasn't being sparked. So freedom is very important. You have to feel, or you have to possess the freedom to be you and enjoy being you. Don't apologize for being you. Order today's complete message on CD or DVD set for a love gift of $20 or more by visiting our website, munroeglobal.com, or calling the number on your screen. Our team is standing by to assist you. Wow, that was one of the scariest moments for me. I've never had to tell my story on a public stage. Never had to speak about the fear that I had or the problems, the issues that I had being the son of Myles Munroe. But I knew that this was a part of my story that I needed to tell because I knew that it could possibly help someone else. So I decided to. But the time didn't allow us to show my entire presentation. So if you want to see it, you can log on to our website, munroeglobal.com, and you can find it there.
And for those of you interested in attending MEL 2017, it will be July 20th to 21st in Nassau, Bahamas, at the British Colonial Hilton Resort. This year, we will be talking about redefining success, new world, new leadership. We have a great lineup of speakers, and we can find out more about the event on the website, munroeemergingleaders.com.
That's right. Well, we want to thank you for joining us today on this episode of The Legacy of Purpose. And we want to thank our good friend, Ralph Clare, for joining us, man. Thanks for being here.
Thanks
man.
for having me here. Appreciate it.
All right, well, we'll see you next week on the next episode of The Legacy of Purpose. Learn, network, relax. Munroe Emerging Leaders 2017 will take place on July 20th and 21st on the beautiful island of Nassau, Bahamas. MEL 2017's theme is Redefining Success, New World, New Leadership. We've lined up some of the most inspiring speakers this year who are willing to motivate and help you develop your own story. Find out more about our MEL 2017 event on our website, or you can call our offices. Join us as we remember and celebrate the lives of two legends at the second annual Munroe Legacy Gala, our annual fundraiser event in benefit of the Myles and Ruth Munroe Foundation. The gala, set for July 22nd, 2017 at the Atlantis Resort Ballroom in Nassau, Bahamas, will be a night filled with music, laughter, and legacy. We will reflect on the Foundation's past accomplishments, but most importantly, focus on the Foundation's future goals and how you can support and partner with us. For more information, call our offices or log on to our website. People will try to stop your blessings. They will try to stop your progress. They will even try to steal your gift and use it in arenas you haven't even entered yet. But don't change who you are. Don't lose focus. No one can be you. No one can replace you. When it's your time, people will know the difference between who God called and who just showed up.